This is One on One. Every once in a while, we have one of the most prolific writers you will ever find. You're about to see him right here on camera. He is R.L. Stine, author of Red Rain, but that is just one in a series of books, part of the Goosebumps series of books, started in 1992, celebrating their 20th anniversary. The Goosebumps series has sold, what, about 200 books?
Don't make me say the number.
Say the number.
No, we've sold a lot of books.
Say the number.
We've sold 300 million, 400 million.
Oh, why are you bragging?
Well, I want to know who counted. I mean, that's the official number, but who counted them?
I got to ask you something.
Who counted?
When you started.
I got very lucky with Goosebumps.
Yeah, luck. Yeah, hard work.
Yeah.
The idea for Goosebumps comes from where, when, how?
I was doing a series for older kids, for teenagers, called Fear Street. And it was a teen terror series. I was killing off teenagers every month. Why? Why did I enjoy killing teenagers so much?
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yes.
And my editors came to me and they said, let's try a series for younger kids, a scary series for 7 to 12-year-olds.
Age appropriate.
And I said, no. That's the kind of businessman I am.
No.
I said, no, I don't want to do it.
What, you didn't see the market or you weren't interested?
No, I didn't want to mess up Fear Street. I was afraid it would mess up the audience. And they kept after me. And finally I said, all right, if I can think of a good name for a series, we can do a few. And one day I was reading TV Guide, and it had TV listings inside. And there at the bottom of the page, it was an ad. It said, it's Goosebumps Week on Channel 11. They were showing scary movies.
Channel 11, for those of you, that is in the New York market, WPIX, right?
And it was just a little ad.
Right.
And I just stared at it. I mean, there was the word. There was the word.
That was it?
I said, we'll call it Channel 11. Perfect. That's a bad joke.
That's okay.
I know.
You can get away with it.
That's where I found the word
books,
Goosebumps.
You can get away with it. So you saw Goosebumps. You said, I want to give him Goosebumps.
It's perfect because it's scary, but it's also funny. And
Yes.
that's what I knew I had to do for younger kids. It couldn't be, I don't want to terrify kids.
Right.
It had to be funny too, and it was the perfect word. It worked out.
But it was a team thing, because your wife...
My wife has a company called Parachute Press. They're independent producers of TV, she and her partner. And most of my books go through her company. I'm married to my editor.
Yeah.
Steve.
How does that
work? It's a horror story. What do you mean? I'm
No
married
kidding.
to my editor.
But,
and she's a really tough editor. She's really good.
But it's good for the marriage.
It's worked out. We've been married. We're the oldest living married couple in America.
You are, aren't you?
We are, yeah.
And your son, Matt.
Matt, yeah.
What's interesting is you have said that one of your actually you said your favorite Goosebumps book is The Haunted Mask, which was inspired by your son Matt.
Yeah, very few Goosebumps books come from real life. Mostly I have to just think, it comes out of my head from somewhere. Who knows?
Right.
But this one, Matt was a little guy. He was like 8, 9, 10 years old. And it was before Halloween. And I was watching him, and he was trying on a green rubber Frankenstein mask. Right. And he pulled it down over his head, and then he couldn't get it off. And I'm watching from the doorway, and he's tugging and tugging. And I thought, what a great idea for a story. And I should have helped him. I should have helped him take the mask off, right? I did not. Yeah, I did not get.
But you saw possibilities.
I didn't get the Good Dad Award that day. I just started making notes and saying, oh yeah, the mask, it sticks to her face, it can't come off. And that's really how the Haunted Mask came about, thanks to Matt.
Well, big difference between that and Red Rain.
Yes.
Red Rain, okay, here's the deal. There's a young woman named Leah. Mm-hmm. And she has these, she adopts these twin boys.
Leah is a travel blogger.
Yeah.
She goes to this Outer Banks island off the coast of South Carolina,
right.
One that I made up, not a real one, not a tourist island, a lot of strange stories. And the next day, she is caught in a devastating hurricane that just destroys the island, kills half the population, and wrecks everything. Just total devastation, horrible. A scene of horror. And the next morning, she wanders out, wanders to the beach. They're piling up the bodies. There are people moaning and crying. It's horrible. And she wanders to the beach, and it starts to rain. And she looks up, and the raindrops are red, bright red. And she thinks, this is the blood of all the victims raining down on us. And from out of this sheets of red rain step these two beautiful, blonde twin boys. And they say, we're lost, we lost our parents, we don't have a home. And she becomes enthralled by them instantly. And she brings them home to her family in Long Island. And the reader knows that these two beautiful blonde twins...
They're sweet kids, aren't they?
They're supernaturally evil. And I mean, this is what this book is really about. It's about evil kids, because I thought people would find that funny, since I write about so many good kids.
Yes.
It's about evil kids and really naive adults. The
nice
parents,
combination.
Yeah, the parents don't have a clue. They have no idea what they've brought into their house.
I got to ask you, now this is, how many books in the series?
Well, this is my first adult book in 15 years. This is for grown-ups. This has nothing to do, believe me, this is not a Goosebumps book.
Okay, but...
This is not for kids.
But the transition, forget about the transition. What made you say, I want to do this for adults?
Here's why. This is the 20th anniversary of Goosebumps. And all those kids who read Goosebumps back in the 90s, now they've grown up. They're all in their 20s, they're in their 30s. And you know, I keep in touch with them on Twitter. I'm on Twitter all day.
What do you say? So Jacqueline Velez, our producer who's producing the show, who's obsessed with your work, right?
That's nice.
She's one of the millions who are following you. She was a kid then. She's an adult now.
Right.
She gets
all
this
these
book.
people, all these kids from the 90s.
What are you saying to them on Twitter?
No, they're saying to me mostly. I mean, I talk to them and try to be entertaining and answer them, you know. And they're wonderful. I mean, it's a wonderful thing for me. I mean, that was my audience. We had just millions, and it was, you know, Goosebumps was a craze in the 90s. And they say, thank you for getting me through my childhood. I wouldn't be a writer today if it wasn't for you. I wouldn't be a librarian today if it wasn't for you. And then they'd say, please write something for us. Please write something for your original audience. And I got so many messages like that. I thought, well, I can't ignore them. Those are my kids. I can't ignore them, right?
That's where
and
it came from?
That's why I wrote Red Rain. Yeah.
It's so interesting on social media. You didn't say, I'm going to do a poll. You just had this ongoing dialogue.
I can keep in touch with, what a great thing to be able to keep in touch with all my old kids.
You know, the whole thing, the cliche question, I got to ask you before I let you out of here, the whole writer's block thing.
Well, yeah.
You looked at me funny as soon as I said it.
Yeah, because I've never had it. Other writers hate me for this. But writing is actually the only thing I'm competent at. No, you can ask my wife. Steve, you can ask my wife. It's the only thing I'm good at.
Your editor? She'll say that? It's something you're good at?
It's the only thing I'm good at. But the secret is, I don't ever just sit down and start to write, ever. I do a complete outline of every book before I write it. I do all the thinking. I do a complete chapter-by-chapter outline of every book first. And it's got, this is what happens in chapter 1, this is what happened, and I know the ending. Before I start to write, I know everything that's going to happen in the book. So how can I have writer's block? I've done the hard part.
You're very well organized.
I'm cut out for this.
Good with time management?
I'm cut out, yeah. It's like factory work to me. It's like,
a little more creative.
I'm cut out for it.
The book is Red Rain. The author is R.L. Stine, New York Times best-selling author. This is for the adults who have loved the Goosebumps.
Not for kids.
Not for kids. I want to clarify that. For all the adults who have loved the Goosebumps series for 20 years. Mr. Stine, I want to thank you very much for joining us.
Steve, I enjoyed it.
It was great.
It was great.
Thanks for
very
coming
much.
One-on-one from the Tisch WNET studios. We'll be right back right after this. Thank you.
Excellent.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating 25 years of broadcast excellence. This special edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato is brought to you from the Tisch WNET studios at Lincoln Center. Funding has been provided by Hackensack University Medical Center, Berkeley College, TD Bank, Qualcare Inc., a local managed care company covering 750,000 New Jersey residents, the law firm of Gibbons PC, Verizon Communications, and by the Russell Berry Foundation. Promotional support provided by the Star Ledger and NJ.com, Everything Jersey, and by the New Jersey Business and Industry Association and its monthly magazine, New Jersey Business. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area. One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been produced in partnership with St. Joseph's Healthcare System.